OGaccountability.com.
Cares how much you know until they know how much you care. You can't sell a package if they think you're only out for your bottom dollar.
Yeah.
They have to know that you care about their well-being.
100% on that. You hit something earlier. If somebody's listening and you wake up and you don't like the person you've been, you can change who you are. It's not going to be easy. And you're going to have some big-time confrontation with the person in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to come to grips with who I am, what I've done, and how would I make it right. And you can change who you are. You have to be so purposeful. And if you're dealing with that mental aspect, just this past week before last, I went to a funeral of a guy that grew up in this town, very, very sad, and sadly he committed suicide. This was a guy that was there to help everybody at the drop of a dime. There wasn't anybody he would not help. He was the life of a room, very caring guy, but sometimes we will look at that and say, man, they got it all together. Sometimes, if not the majority of the time, we overcompensate for the areas that we feel lack in. And we don't feel valuable. We don't feel worthwhile. We don't feel worthy. We will go to that polar opposite when it comes to people, and we'll be all things to all people. Not that we want people to like us. We want somebody to care for us at that same level. Mm-hmm. And sadly, he got faced with the situation that he thought that was the only position and the only way out. And it very tragic. But that happens a lot. For people that get stuck in a rut, you can change. You can change. And like you said, there may be some times in a room you're speaking with people, and the feedback you get, you may have to go, I need to find a different room.
Yeah.
Or like you said, like, oh dang. Or if you have somebody like, hey, am I a dick to hang around? Well, yeah, you kind of are. And then like, no, tell me. I'll use this with my daughter. Mm-hmm. We were going to a function, and something came up and we weren't able to go at the last minute. I just couldn't. And at the time, she's like 10 years old. And, sometimes kids don't understand when it comes to certain work things. I have to be there. We got to eat, baby. So she's like, it's okay. And I said, no. We were driving back. I said, don't say that. I want you to tell me. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay. Your face, your demeanor, it's not okay. Well, I was just really looking for it. I said, there you go, babe. I said, from now on, if anything like this happens, if it ever happens again, tell me. Dad, I really wanted to be there. Don't bottle that crap up. Yeah. Don't be like, well, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Express your feelings. Of course, we also had to put the disclaimer out there with her, like, but your feelings don't override reality all the time. Yep. It can't be your truth, so everything's bad because that's the way you feel. You can create a monster, and we see them. They're the ones out there telling people they can't park in parking spots and telling people to turn their music down, and people, overstepping, becoming Karens in the community. When you can sit back and say, guess what? I'm going to be me, and I want you to be you. The problem is most of us want people to be like us. That's the problem. We're not comfortable with somebody being them. And we see that with politics. You can get around certain people. They can be super nice to you. You can get along. But the second they find out you have a different party affiliation, you can watch people change that fast. Mm-hmm. Well, that just to me means that you're emotionally unintelligent, and that you can't stand any source of friction in your life. Everything has to be just the way you want it.
It does show a bit of immaturity. It really does. Especially when the answers are out there. You just got to find it. Like if somebody is triggered by the fact that you are a particular, you identify with a particular political party, chances are they got into a rogue argument or they were insulted by somebody who claimed the same ideals. And so now, they're in a triggered state. Now they're emotional. Now they're hyper emotional, So it's really, it's that individual's responsibility to be able to extrapolate the wisdom from that moment and say, I'm not really mad at this person because he's a Republican. I'm mad at this Republican, or I'm not mad at that Democrat. I'm mad at the other Democrat that pissed me off, or what have you. But anytime you're going to get hyper emotional over, to the point where, and when I say hyper emotional, I mean like to the point where it disrupts your entire day. Like,
Yeah.
you can have 5 minutes of being pissed off at me. That's fine. But if you're getting to the point where it's affecting your entire day, potentially even your entire week, it's showing a lot of emotional immaturity.
I sometimes think I'm broken because I'm not going to use the term nothing or anything, but just about everything that doesn't get to me. I don't get worked up. I don't get, somebody can be rude to me. Somebody can cuss me out. And I'm like, fair enough. Because I realize in dealing with people a lot of times, sometimes the struggles that people are dealing with and they're angry, they're really not angry at you.
Yeah.
You're just the source of their outlet at that moment in their frustration. I've had people, you're a blankety blank. Yes, I am. Now where I'm different is when they say, I'm going to whip your, okay, well now we're in a different realm.
Yeah.
Now we've stepped to a different arena. But if you're just yelling at me, I'm going to get in the truck and 30 seconds after I drive off, you are not even a thought in my mind anymore. I have already moved on to something else because I have my own things that I'm dealing with. Yeah. And where I know that I'm broken is when I get emotionally charged. When I'm unbalanced, my emotional feeling trumps your logic. That's where I know, yeah, you're unbalanced. The second that my feelings start trumping everybody around me, boy, we need that taught in schools. Like, just because you got this feeling doesn't make it real.
Well, that's mindfulness, I think, right? And we don't teach mindfulness in schools, and I don't know why. I could have used some lessons on mindfulness and emotional intelligence.
I just kept getting butt whoopings, man.
Yeah, that's
kept getting pops.
Now you're a bad kid,
yeah.
Right? So get on with the other bad kids. Yeah, I don't know why I volunteer often for this organization called the Education for Tomorrow Alliance. And essentially, I'm one of the entrepreneurs that comes in. They do career panels. They'll do mock interviews for high school kids. It's like this leadership training, Conroe ISD. Anyways, so we do these career panels sometimes. And as an entrepreneur, I mean, yes, I went through some of the higher educational system, but I basically learned what I needed to learn and started my own company. So I didn't take the same educational path as most of the other professionals sitting on the panel. So a lot of the times the kids will start, especially when they learn that personal development is something that I'm really passionate about, they start asking these personal development questions. And more often than not, the entire conversation turns to, how do I communicate that I'm stressed to my adults? How do I know when I'm burning out? All of these emotional intelligence questions, because these kids don't really care what it took as far as like checking boxes to get to where you are as, I don't know, the assistant vice principal of a school. They don't care. They want to know what trials and tribulations you went through. They want to know how you overcame it and why you're still here. Why are you not part of this massive suicide epidemic that we see not just in this country, but in other countries that we don't talk about? Why are you not a victim of this epidemic? What have you done? And it comes back to emotional intelligence work. So a lot of the time when I'm doing these career panels, it's got nothing to do with my career. It's got everything to do with what the high school student needs to hear, and that is personal development speak. So, I mean, the same way personal finance should be in schools and taught. I mean, we're talking men's mental health here. Let's set our young men up for success. Start teaching them personal finance. Start teaching them physical intelligence again, beyond just playing kickball in gym class, right? Teach them how to take care of their bodies, and then teach them some emotional intelligence work as well.
James, you just hit something. I don't understand why, even when it comes to PE, why there is not a health portion put into the physical education program of like, hey, supplemental. If you're not going to be screw the food pyramid, but if you're not going to eat well, you need to be supplemental. There are certain things your body needs. Mm-hmm. What happens once you hit the age of 35 and what happens with your testosterone and what happens? So that things that now with the older group, I mean, probably 6-7 years ago, you'd hear people talking about going to a low T clinic. Mm-hmm. It was real taboo and nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
Now there's one on every corner.
Yeah.
Because the more we learn, but we still have that cookie cutter school program that if we could start building strong, mentally healthy, mentally stable, balanced, that's the word I was looking, mentally balanced young men and women growing up. But have you heard what was it, in 1962, 65? Did you hear was it Walter Cronkite? He reads this letter. It's like in 1962, 65. I want to say it's him, but it says, if I was the devil, here's what I would do.
No.
I'll send it to you. And when you hear what this guy wrote and you see what's going on right now in America, here's the thing, and we're talking about being mentally, you said something. People don't realize that over in Russia, the suicide rates are way higher than they are over here.
Japan, it was huge for a long time as they were rebuilding after the Second World War.
But our issue is this. America is a very prideful country. We are the greatest country on earth. We are. We're a very prideful country. Here's something they don't teach you in school. We only make up 7% of the world's population.
And we're a baby country.
And we're a baby country.
Yeah.
Some of these countries have thousands and thousands of years of histories, have temples that were built thousands and thousands. We're 200 and what?
Call it 250.
Yeah, 250.
Around 250.
Like, we're not that old,
Yeah.
but we have this mindset. We only think about us. But the suicide rate around the world, it's high. It's super high in Australia.
Well, we think about us it's the American dream. That's what happened after the Second World War, and everybody was focused on getting theirs, right? How do I get my nut? That's all that really mattered.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see it come full circle. And who knows what's going to happen over the next 2 years with the global politics and American politics. I think we're going to be leaning on our communities more in 2 years than we ever have before, or at least prior to or at post-World War II, right? Because, again, the American dream, how do I get my house? How do I get my pension? How do I get my retirement? How do I set my people up? It's not community-driven anymore, but it's going to be. It's going to be. Watch these corrections come down the pipeline and see how much you lean on your neighbor.
So talking about that, it was right after 9/11. I remember my dad, he was speaking to the church. He said, hey, we're not doomsday people. He's like, sometimes it sucks talking about certain things because people go to the far extreme. You know, you talk about like, hey, you maybe want to get some food, a food cache in your house just in case. Oh my God, they're a crazy prepper church. No, you dumbass. Your government tells you to do that. Now your government is telling you to have 90 days of food put away. Why are they telling you that?
Right.
Because they know.
And they're the last. They're the last source of information.
I'm the government. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
But so after the pandemic or the plandemic, people. I mean, he caught flack. People were like, "Oh my God," blah 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 blah. Now, after people were going to the grocery store and they're like,
it's real?
This is real.
Logistics crisis is a real thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
and
they can shut you down real quick.
Shut you down real fast.
Yeah.
And it makes people go, well, wait a second. Well, that's like right now. We just, I'll tell you afterward. I can't talk about it on there. I'm sorry. I have a one-track brain, man. When I start talking about something, then I realize, I can't talk about that. You'll understand why. But if you will start planning, if you can start planning just for, I'm going to put some food aside for my family. You don't have to go crazy. I mean, buy you a couple pails from the Four Patriots. It's really not that expensive when you look at what it comes down to. Buy you 2 90-day boxes and stick them under your bed. If you don't need them, you don't need them. Mm-hmm. But if you do, you do. But here's what you were talking about, community. If things transition and continue the way they're going, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have their hand out going, well, where's the government? And it's going to take community to step in and say, here, I've got this. I can part with this. I can part with that.
Well, that's the best case scenario for that, because at that point, yeah, you're going to have people asking, where's the government? And we either let the government into our front door, which we will all regret, or we band together as a community and take care of the needs. I mean, so I'd say making sure that your brothers and sisters next to you, your neighbors, those individuals are taken care of as well, that's the best case scenario, because I do not want the government giving me handouts.
I don't want anything from the government except for them to lower my taxes and fire all of Congress.
And protect the border.
That should be number one. Yeah, you're right.
You know, I see there are essentially two things the government should do: uphold contracts and protect the border. If you protect the homeland and make sure that whatever contract I enter into with another individual is upheld and there's some accountability there, the world can continue to spin as far as I'm concerned. I don't need you to do anything else for me.
I don't want you to do anything for me. But a healthy mind, this is just, I'm just throwing this out there. A healthy mind will take thought in every situation but not get lost in it. It'll take thought about every scenario, but not become almost like one of those conspiracy theorists, the ones that go down the rabbit trail. Then everything's a conspiracy, and it's like you may have gotten a little warped on your thinking there, man.
Yeah, well, I stay away from anything I think I know, anyways. You know, if I think I know it, chances are I don't know much about it,
right?
And I've got some learning to do. I think it's Cartesian philosophy that states all I know is that I know nothing. And then he moves on into proving his existence. I know I exist because I can ask the question. And that's about as far as we've ever really come, philosophically speaking, to knowing anything, right? There are some mathematical truths that have been proven, you know, but again, you change the value of 2 and all of our mathematical proofs are disproven, right? So
did you know that math is racist now?
I wasn't aware of that, but it's good to know.
There's a lady that went before Congress. Math is racist.
Okay. I'm not even sure where to go with
well, you said change the value of 2. I'm like, well, that's racist. But we talk about the thought processes out there. Be careful who you get your information from.
Well, that's true.
Because there's some people out there that got some crazy thoughts. And here's the thing. A balanced mind will hear some of this junk that's out there and just be like, but people who aren't be like, well, maybe math is racist. And they're out there holding a picket sign. They don't even know what they're holding it for.
No.
And that is not a joke. That is for real, that math is now racist. When we get to the place as men, I will have to say this, James, and then we're already closing in an hour, but I want to get your thought on this. When we get a healthy mind and we talk about community, for those that have a healthy, balanced mind, there will come a day you're going to need to stand up and be a voice. And you can't just sit back on your tailbone. That when it comes to logic, the logical people need to stand up and be like, whoa, people, we're getting a little off kilter here.
Well, my hope for humanity is that the individuals who are doing the type of work we're talking about have mastered this idea of courage. So when the time comes, I have no doubt they'll be the ones to stand up and be the voice, right? You're not going to have I got to be careful with this, because unfortunately far too often in antiquity we do have unintelligent human beings that are very loud mouths and people start to believe it. But I have to believe that the silent majority is pretty well read, pretty well spoken, pretty well educated, pretty self-reflective. And that's why they're not as loud and obnoxious as the extreme ends of this spectrum, right?
Yeah.
The guys in the middle that will be the leaders in chaos are the quiet ones today. And I'm totally cool with that, because what are they doing? They're focusing on their families.
Yeah.
They're focusing on themselves. They're focusing on living a virtuous life. They're focusing on being integritous, making sure their actions align with their values, bringing people up behind them. You know, they're not out there worrying about all of the other nonsense and flub-dub and just loud noises that we hear within the politics.
Do you think a lot of that stuff's just put out as a distraction to get people?
I think it can be, absolutely.
To get people off kilter and not even care what's...
If there is a tactic, it is being used. So if you can conceive it as a tactic, a political tactic, chances are it's being used in some regard.
But there will be a time. There will be a time that you're gonna have to make a stand. There's a video that my buddy Sean sent me. It's about 3 minutes long, and there's a lady on a plane, and she's getting kicked off the plane, but she is being a complete and utter Neanderthal. I got to choose my words careful. Neanderthal, and going up and down the aisles. Who did I offend? Who did I offend? I mean, everybody's just sitting there. And then finally, after about 3 minutes, this guy stands up and says, "Young lady," and he's an older gentleman. He's like, "Not only are you out of line, you are disgusting." And he just walked down, and she eventually shut her mouth. And when he was done talking, everybody started playing. But there will become a time where you're going to have to stand up, because if we don't stand for what's right or balanced, what is that? What's that song? How high is the water, mama? 3 feet high and rising? Or no, I'm sorry. The Johnny Cash song. He's talking about the snake, and talking about a snake bit him. He said, "Oh, he's up to my boots. Oh, gee, he's up to my knee. Oh, heck, he's up to my neck." And then when he finally realizes that he should have tried to save himself, it's too late. He's swallowed. It's not one of his popular songs, but I know a lot of music, so I kind of get into the older stuff. But don't be that type of person. Like, well, we'll just let it slide a little bit, and then next thing you know, it's up to your knee. Oh, it's fine. Next thing you know, it's up to your neck. And
that's how COVID happened.
That's exactly how COVID happened. And now they know they can't pull that same crap again, because there's too many people.
Not without martial law. They've got all the practices in place now.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be a little easier. And 2 weeks of martial law, unfortunately, people will become okay with it. You know, that's kind of that's that mark. 2 weeks of anything is enough to kind of change the way society sees themselves. So,
isn't it crazy that? Shit, I don't want to get into that, but the COVID deal. Now the school protocols, everything's different. Oh, they have COVID. Well, that's fine. Just keep them home a couple days, then come back.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have to be gone 10 days.
Right. Well, yeah. I don't want to get into COVID, but
exactly. But James, I think what we are doing, and I think you and I are kind of kindred in the heart of we want to see people helped and do well. We don't have all the answers. It's like this. I have to take it. My dad's a pastor. He says it so well. I'm not perfect. I'm leading you to somebody who's perfect. I have flaws in my life, and I do not preach on everything that I have attained. There's a level I'm still trying to obtain. I have my own faults. I have my own sin. I battle my own demons. But I'm battling, and I'm pushing towards that mark. People have to be purposeful. Don't give up. Don't quit. Like I shared this funeral we were just at. This guy was an amazing, amazing man. So what that lets me know is he was very, very dark in his thinking. All the good he was doing for people, he could not see the good and how much people loved him, wanted him around, wanted him a part of everything that was going on. Because when you get alone with those thought processes, they bleach out every area of good in your life, and that's all you can see. I don't want that for anybody, even my enemy.
Yeah. What would you rather believe? Just keep telling yourself, what would you rather believe?
And I think we are seeing a shift, because we are talking about the mental healing of our minds, and the mental aspect for me. And I never got this. We had some people years ago that we helped out, a gentleman that had a true schizophrenic mental illness, true schizophrenic. And the reason I say that, some of these diagnoses and things that are just thrown on people, sometimes it's like, maybe they're just an asshole. Maybe are they mentally ill, or are they just a jerk? He had true mental illness. And I will never forget my dad saying this, and I was about 12 years old. He said, "I would rather lose both my arms than ever have to deal with this gentleman has to deal with on a daily basis." Yeah. The true destruction of the mind, and that was the thing about, what was the Russian, the guy, Stalin. He just knew if he got in people's minds. That was Hitler. Mm-hmm. Once he could get into his army's minds, if he would have started at day one, they would have taken him out and hung him immediately.
Right.
They wouldn't have marched all those people to their deaths and burned them and killed them and gassed them. No, he got them in their mind and got that mind. Be careful what you let into your life. Be careful the voices you let in. Secondly, be careful the voice you become to somebody.
Yeah.
I think we've all, you ever been around somebody who just sucks all the joy out of the room?
I think I've been that guy before.
I was that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was that guy.
It's a big reason why I stopped drinking.
Isn't it funny how alcohol really intensifies the negative attributes of our life.
Oh, well, it's a depressant.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a depressant. I mean,
I've said it, and I've been called out probably 300 times in the past 20 years. After 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, somebody's had too much to drink, and they got in a fight or something. And it's like, do you not see a pattern? Mm-hmm. And I finally told a guy after about the 5th time, dude, you got to quit drinking. Dude, you need to. If you have to have a vice, don't let it be alcohol, because it does not
agree with you.
You got to quit. You need to quit now. Yeah. And that sounds easy. There's a difference when your body's now physically dependent on the alcohol. Definitely. You can't just quit. And that is where people need to get empathy and realize some of these people that have struggles, they don't want those struggles. Mm-hmm. They don't want to have to fight what they're fighting. Is they've gotten to a place that their body has to have it. And it's sad. It's sad because two things. Sad that any human being ever gets to that position, but it's sad that somewhere along the way the right voice didn't step in and say, hey, look, I'm not just going to tell you what to do. This lady right here, I'm not sharing anything she has not ever shared publicly, but was a diehard alcoholic. She's been clean and sober 12 years now. We had people here in this community that needed to get sober. She doesn't live here. She would drive out here and go pick this person up and get them to. When you get people that have come out and now have that freedom, they want to see people with that same freedom and joy. Mm-hmm. And she's an advocate. Anybody needs help, we need people like that. We need to begin to talk about, hey man, that battle in your mind's not real. Those thoughts are real, but that reality's not.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're losing, lots of people every single day that succumb to that lie in their mind that they're not cared about, they're not cared for. But let's take it to community mindset now, James. Why didn't I reach out to that person? Because maybe we don't know how. Guess what? I don't need to fix people's problems. Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? Hey man, you want to go grab some lunch? Like, hey, you want to go golf? Hey, you want to, just be a friend. Yeah. You don't have to be a healer for somebody. Sometimes just being a friend will do the healing enough.
Definitely.
James, thank you for being here. I didn't realize we're already at the 2-hour mark.
It's been fun.
Can't wait to have you come back. I've got a topic I'd like for us to get on next time. I think it would be a good time, man. Thank you so much.